I'm Maya Torres, 31, and last Thanksgiving shattered everything I thought I knew about family. At our gathering in Tucson, Arizona, my younger brother received a brand new truck worth $85,000, keys handed to him with a bow. Me? I got a used coffee maker from a thrift store. My dad grinned, saying, "Now you can finally make decent coffee at your apartment." The room erupted in applause for Ethan. I felt like I'd been punched. That night, I couldn't take it anymore. I packed my bags, got in my beat-up Honda, and drove into the desert darkness, leaving 28 years of being invisible behind. As I merged onto I-10, my phone buzzed. "Mom, don't forget you owe us rent." I stared at the message, fury rising. I opened Venmo, sent back the exact cost of the coffee maker, $12, and typed, "Thanks for the gift." Have you ever been treated like you don't matter by the people who should love you most? Share your story in the comments. Growing up in Tucson, I always knew my place, second. My parents, Carlos and Rosa Torres, owned a successful landscaping business. They'd built it from nothing, and everything revolved around their legacy. My younger brother, Ethan, was their golden child, football star, business major, the son who'd take over the company. By 29, he was managing operations, engaged to a doctor, living their dream. I was the disappointment who chose social work over profit margins. Maya's always been idealistic, Mom would say, the word carrying unspoken pity. I'd graduated with a social work degree and $30,000 in student loans. Ethan had a full ride, athletic scholarship, plus family money for business expenses. "You need to be practical like your brother," Dad would say. "Ethan understands what builds wealth." I paid $500 monthly rent to live in their guest house, bought groceries, helped with yard work. None of it registered. "Still working at that nonprofit?" Ethan would ask, his tone suggesting I was volunteering at a lemonade stand. The comparisons never stopped. Ethan was the high school hero, the business prodigy, the one who made them proud. I was the kid who chose helping foster kids over making money. When I landed a job at a youth advocacy center, Mom barely looked up. Does it pay well? When Ethan got promoted to operations manager at the family business they already promised him, they threw a party. The worst moments were family dinners. Ethan would talk about expansion plans, new contracts, his fiance's surgical residency. They'd hang on every word. I'd mention a teen I'd helped place in a safe home. Mom would nod politely, then ask Ethan about wedding venues. My bedroom in the guest house became my refuge and my prison. Money was constant stress. Student loans wanted $320 monthly. My nonprofit salary barely covered basics. One month, I asked Dad to borrow $200 for a work training certification. "Budget better," he said. "Ethan never asks for money." "Because you gave Ethan everything," I wanted to scream. But my work mattered. I was a case manager at Pima Youth Services, helping kids navigate the foster system. It was exhausting, late nights, emotional burnout, bureaucratic nightmares, but every kid I helped made it worth it. My supervisor, Angela Chen, became my mentor. "You're changing lives, Maya," she'd say when I felt defeated. When I told my parents I'd helped reunify a family after 8 months of advocacy work, Dad said, "That's nice. Did you hear Ethan signed a $500,000 contract?" I stopped sharing. Then came Thanksgiving. I'd spent weeks preparing. I bought thoughtful gifts, a leather journal for Dad, a hand-painted pottery bowl for Mom, custom cufflinks with Ethan's initials. I helped Mom plan the menu, offered to bring homemade tamales, showed up early to help cook. The house smelled like roasted turkey and Mom's famous calabazitas. Extended family filled the living room. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all gathered. After dinner, we moved to gift exchange. I handed out my presents. Dad flipped through the journal without comment. Mom set the bowl aside. Ethan pocketed the cufflinks, saying, "Cool, thanks." Then it was my turn. Mom handed me a small box, smiling tightly. "This is from all of us." Inside was a used coffee maker, Mr. Coffee circa 2010, clearly from Goodwill. The cord was frayed. I stared, confused. Dad leaned forward, grinning. Now you can finally make decent coffee at your apartment instead of wasting money at Starbucks." The room went quiet. A cousin shifted uncomfortably. Before I could process it, they moved to Ethan. Dad stood, practically vibrating with excitement. "This one's special." He handed Ethan keys with a Ford logo. "It's outside," Dad announced. The family rushed to the window. There it was, a brand new F-150, gleaming black, $85,000 worth of truck. Ethan whooped, hugging Dad, then Mom. "You guys are incredible." The room erupted, cousins congratulating him, aunts praising my parents' generosity. I stood frozen, the used coffee maker still in my hands. Back inside, Ethan couldn't stop talking about the truck while my parents beamed. I sat on the couch, numb. Dad caught my eye. "That coffee maker's quality," he said. "Looked it up, still works great." I excused myself to the kitchen, hands shaking. I pulled out my phone, found the Goodwill sticker still on the bottom, $12. I opened Venmo, sent back the exact cost of the coffee maker, $12, and typed, "Thanks for the gift." Then I grabbed my coat and left through the back door. I called my college friend Jasmine from a gas station parking lot. "Come to Phoenix," she said immediately. "Stay with me." I drove 2 hours north, crying the whole way. Jasmine had a spare room in her apartment. "Stay as long as you need." Rebuilding was brutal. Phoenix rent was expensive. My Tucson nonprofit salary wouldn't work. I found a position at Maricopa Family Services. Better pay, more responsibility. I saw a therapist, Dr. Patricia Ruiz, who helped me process 28 years of being overlooked. She said, "You're not responsible for their choices." I blocked my parents' numbers, then Ethan's. Work became my anchor. I led a team of case managers, developed new family reunification protocols, got promoted to senior advocate. Angela, who'd moved to a Phoenix organization, became both colleague and friend. "You're thriving," she'd say when I felt defeated. I built a community, found my people. 6 months later, I heard through extended family that my parents were struggling. The landscaping business had taken a hit, drought, labor issues, competition. Carlos had health problems, diabetes complications from years of stress. Ethan's truck? Repossessed. He'd missed payments, unable to manage finances without their constant bailouts. They'd tried calling. I never answered. Ethan sent an email. "We're in trouble. The business is failing. We need you." I deleted it. 1 year after I left, I stood at a community center in Phoenix accepting an award. The Arizona Social Workers Association had named me Advocate of the Year for my work with foster youth. My chosen family filled the room. Jasmine, Angela, my team from work, friends who'd shown up when it mattered. Angela hugged me. "You earned this." My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text. "We saw the news about your award. We're proud. Can we talk?" I read it twice, then deleted it. Some pride comes too late to matter. 2 years after Thanksgiving, I stood in a small Phoenix chapel. I was marrying Daniel Reyes, a teacher I'd met through work, someone who saw me, valued me, chose me. My wedding was intimate. Jasmine as my maid of honor, Angela, my work family, friends who'd shown up when it mattered. The Torres family wasn't invited. Daniel and I wrote our own vows. His were about partnership, seeing each other clearly, building something real. Mine were about choosing people who choose you back. At the reception, Jasmine raised a glass. To Maya for knowing her worth and never settling for less. Everyone cheered. Later, I found a box I'd saved, the coffee maker from that Thanksgiving. I'd kept it as a reminder. Daniel asked what I wanted to do with it. I said, "Donate it. Someone else can use it." He smiled, understanding. "You don't need reminders anymore." He was right. To anyone reading this, your value isn't defined by family who can't see it. Mine couldn't see my work as important, couldn't see my passion as legitimate, couldn't see me as anything but the child who didn't fit their plan. So I built a life where I saw myself clearly. They paid a price, lost their business, their golden child's future, the daughter they'd overlooked. I paid mine too. Years of hurt, a family I had to leave behind, holidays spent alone before I found my people. But I gained something irreplaceable, freedom to live on my own terms, surrounded by people who see my worth. That's the power of choosing yourself. and I'll carry it forward, unburdened, unshakable, undeniably whole.